Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so get this. Two of the most powerful scientific revolutions of our time, they're on a collision course. And today, we're going to dive into what happens when they finally meet. So, on one hand, you've got biotechnology. We're unlocking the very secrets of life itself. And on the other hand, you have artificial intelligence, which is giving us this incredible power to process information on a scale that was, frankly, unimaginable before. And now, for the first time, these two worlds are converging. And trust me, it's poised to change, well, pretty much everything.
So you've got these two massive shifts happening, right, at the same time. You have the biological revolution, which is finally letting us peek into this hidden, invisible world of microbes living inside of us. And then you have the digital revolution that's given us AI, these incredibly powerful tools that can spot patterns in what to us just looks like total chaos. So, the billion-dollar question is, what happens when you smash these two together?
All right, to even begin to answer that, let's first dig into the biological side of this equation. Let's talk about your microbiome. So, what is the microbiome? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a bustling, invisible organ you never knew you had. It's this insanely complex community of trillions of tiny organisms, bacteria, fungi, viruses, all coexisting in your gut, on your skin, literally everywhere. And here's the kicker. They aren't just along for the ride. They are a critical part of what makes you, well, you. And just how much do we rely on these little microbial allies? A ton. They're not just helping you digest your lunch. They're actually producing essential vitamins your body can't make on its own. They're training your immune system, teaching it who the good guys and the bad guys are. And get this, new research is even linking them directly to our mental health. It's not an exaggeration to say they are fundamental to our well-being. But, it's a really delicate balance. And when that balance gets thrown out of whack, there's a fancy scientific term for it, dysbiosis, the consequences can be pretty severe. We're now linking this kind of microbial imbalance to a whole growing list of modern diseases, everything from metabolic disorders to chronic inflammation. Okay, so we do have some tools to try and influence this inner ecosystem. You've probably heard of probiotics and prebiotics. There are even more advanced things like fecal transplants, which is exactly what it sounds like, where you transfer a healthy microbiome to a patient to restore that balance. We're even starting to dabble in synthetic biology to design custom microbes for specific jobs. But here's the problem. Until now, it's like we've been trying to navigate a giant, complex city using a hand-drawn map with most of the streets missing.
So, let's switch gears. Let's talk about the other side of the story and how this incredible new superpower, artificial intelligence, is basically giving us the complete, high-res GPS-enabled map we've been desperately missing.
And this really gets to the core of the problem, right? The human brain, as amazing as it is, just can't wrap its head around the sheer scale and complexity of the microbiome. We're talking about trillions of members. Each one is interacting with every other one and with our own cells in a number of ways that's practically infinite. It's beautiful biological chaos.
And this is exactly where AI swoops in. It is the breakthrough we've been waiting for. The best way to think of it is as a universal translator. But instead of translating, say, French to English, it deciphers the incredibly complex chemical language our microbes use to communicate. So for the very first time, we can actually start to understand what they're saying to each other and to us.
So how does it actually do that? Well, first, AI algorithms can just churn through mountains of biological data. We're talking DNA sequencing and all that good stuff, and spot patterns that are totally invisible to the human eye. Then second, it can build these amazing predictive models, basically simulations of how all these microbes will interact. And third, and this is the holy grail, all of this leads to truly personalized medicine, treatments that are tailored specifically to your unique microbial signature.
Okay, so what does the future actually look like when you combine these two revolutions? We're not just talking about better medicine here. We are talking about the ability to literally engineer life itself. And that, as you can imagine, comes with some absolutely mind-blowing promise, but also some pretty significant peril.
The potential is just staggering, and it goes way beyond just human health. This convergence could unlock a whole new world. We're talking everything from medicines designed for your unique biology, but also farming practices that can actually enrich the soil instead of stripping it bare. We could even develop new ways to tackle massive environmental problems like plastic pollution.
So let's paint a picture for a second. What could this future actually look like? Imagine smart cities that have engineered microbes built right into their infrastructure, literally eating pollution and recycling waste. Imagine medicine that isn't based on trial and error,
but is guided by an AI that understands your body's unique biology down to the last microbe. We could even, theoretically, design entire ecosystems to bring polluted environments back to life. I mean, wow, that's the promise.
But you know the saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And this kind of power, the power to engineer microbial life on a massive scale, it forces us to stop and confront some really tough questions about safety, ethics, and who's in control.
And these are the big, hairy challenges we need to figure out. Like what happens if we create some new microbe to eat plastic and we release it into the wild and it starts, I don't know, eating something else? How do we protect the privacy of our biological data? I mean, that is arguably the most personal data that exists about you. And maybe the biggest question of all, who gets to decide how this stuff is used and who gets access to it?
So ultimately, it really all comes down to this delicate balancing act. On one side of the scale, you have this incredible once-in-a-generation opportunity to improve human health and maybe even heal our planet. But on the other side, you have this immense responsibility to get it right, to manage data privacy, to think through the unintended consequences, and navigating that trade-off. That is going to be one of the great challenges of our time, for sure.
Look, what this all means is that for the first time in history, we are truly learning to program life itself. The question is no longer if we can do it, or even can we do it. The real question is, should we? And how are we, all of us as a society, going to choose to use this extraordinary and frankly, kind of terrifying new power? That's the question I want to leave you with.